What's up, guys? Look who I'm here with.
Look at me. Look at my hair. Oh my god, look at this hair. It's so beautiful.
Alright, so,
Welcome back to
welcome back
to
to A1 Your Hero, y'all. Now I'm talking a little low because I'm in Honda right now, needing some brake pads changed for my lady's car. So anyway, let me tell y'all some spiritual aspects of my lady's mom's passing. Something that just happened right now. So, I'm going to make this short, okay? So, spiritual aspects of my lady's mom's passing was this. First thing that happened was that we noticed that during the funeral, she had a whole bunch of purple tablecloths, purple flowers, purple everything, right? So here we are inside of this side of the Honda place, getting the car looked up, repaired, and everything. And so this little white girl came up, and she was just looking at us. Then she was not trying to get me to wave, but she was trying to get her to wave.
yeah.
And she kept trying to get her to wave, and she was like, right. She was like,
In the children's lounge.
that's the children's lounge. So that is the children's lounge. And she was right in there. Okay. And so she had this purple coat, right? And then when a lady right there,
Yeah.
when she started waving, the little girl started waving back, and she started pointing. So we looked, we paid attention. We tried to look. We tried to see what she was pointing at, and she pointed up, and then she pointed up towards the ceiling. Then she pointed towards that way, towards that hall. Then she pointed towards that hall, and so we was like, okay. So we was just looking. We didn't get it quite yet. So then she took this little purple coat, and she was right there. She was right there, and she took this purple coat, and she held it up, and then
To the glass.
to the glass, and then a lady right there.
Oh.
She was like, purple? She said purple?
The little girl
The little girl shook her head, yep. And she held it up again, and Michelle said, purple? She said, purple? I said, yeah, purple. And that's when we knew that Michelle's mom was in here, because purple was associated with her funeral, and purple everything. So when the little girl held up the purple and was talking about pointing this way and that way, what she was saying, that her mom was here walking around.
Yeah, so she was basically, I believe she pointed up because she's basically saying that she's talking about someone from up there coming down here. So somebody from up there and they're down here. And they came from that way, okay, and then they went down that way. So basically, saying that they're moving around, or they're from a higher dimension, and they're down here, and they're here, and it's the girl associated purple, with my mom and stuff, and then like when when we got it, then the girl walked away like she was done. And I found that to be kind of crazy because at first I was just kind of copying what the little girl was kind of doing, because you know how kids are. They're trying to get you to notice and stuff, but she seemed adamant about getting attention and stuff like that, as though, she's trying to relay a message to me.
Yeah, because she was the one she was waving at. She was trying to get her to wave.
Yeah.
And when she waved back at her, then she got her attention. That's when she started pointing and stuff.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say, babe?
No.
So those are just some one of the spiritual aspects that you can kind of expect. Look for the signs, if one of your loved ones pass and things like that. That's just one of the spiritual aspects to it, and how you can pay attention, because kids can see, like I used to see when I was little and stuff like that. So,
But what happened?
but people didn't believe me and stuff like that. My mom was the only person that tried to believe me, that actually tried and attempted, and she saw what I saw, which was a shadow being up the steps. So that was good. So I just think that that's amazing, that
Me?
butterfly spirit Michelle right there
Mm-hmm.
can understand, and actually pay attention like my mom did for me, like we just both did, for that little girl and understand that that little girl was trying to relay a message because she's not there no more. She left. So, there you go. That's the spiritual aspect of a loved one's passing. Pay attention to the signs. And if a kid is trying to relay a message to you, remember, their pineal gland is open, is freshly open. So,
Yeah.
nothing's scary to them. They're not programmed by any scary monsters. Stuff just exists to them. They just think it's normal.
And for people who are going to say, well, about Christianity and throw it out there, oh, well, they'll say, you should let the dead rest, you shouldn't be bothering with that stuff or whatever. My thing is that, spirits come all the time and they try to relay messages and stuff like that. And, they try to relay stuff to you all the time. And, I feel like with Christianity, it really just tries to kill your belief in knowing that there is spirits and there are other things. You know what I'm saying? So, my advice to you guys is to, be open-minded and stuff and know Christianity is not the only way and what they say is not the only way of stuff. Because I'm going to tell you guys, my mom was a Christian and she believed in everything the church said and everything. She believed it wholeheartedly up until her death, Now, luckily, I managed to get the truth to my mom about stuff, in terms of like my, pre-birth memories and everything like that. And told her the information she needed to know to not come back and be reincarnated. But, some people are not so lucky, People who tend to believe in Christianity wholeheartedly, they end up coming back here. It's only a miracle when people actually escape, the cycle of reincarnation, So my mom was lucky that I stuck my neck out and I was willing to say things that, other people might not have wanted to say. And I didn't have times where I was like, oh my gosh, if I tell my mom this, she's probably going to think I'm crazy. But I didn't know that my mom was having experiences herself where her religion was going against her and stuff, and in the form of nightmares and all different types of stuff. And for people who are going to say, well, that my mom should have prayed about it, my mom prayed for years. I believe my mom lived for, I believe, 59 years, and she was a Christian from the time she was a little girl going all the way up, and she prayed even through, all different things that happened through her life, and none of the stuff that she prayed for ever happened. So people need to be mindful of that.
She ended up suffering really, really bad from religious trauma syndrome.
Yeah.
And all the stories that they tell you, like don't accept gifts if the person's not married, don't let them in your house, don't be around people who are sinners, only be around other Christian people, don't even eat with another person who's a sinner. She believed in all that stuff. So, and that's why it was very hard for her to get help, because the religious trauma syndrome just kept her from getting the help she needed, because that's what the church told her to do. So she followed it to the letter, and she had them. All she used was faith. She used no knowledge. She leaned on the Lord, on Jesus. She leaned on God. She used God and had faith for everything, and it turned out to
Kill her in the end.
It killed her, basically.
Killed her in the end, yeah.
Christianity killed her mom, because of the trauma syndrome. But now we have to look for the signs. This is why we're talking about this, because now, down to her mom's past and stuff, now we have to look for the signs and use our spiritual know-how and knowingness of when her mom could be around. I think that's somebody's coughing. Like I said, we're not.
Could be a sign.
Well, yeah.
Could
a
be.
lot of times when you hear that beeper, you hear like a beep or something like that, or you hear a honk or a car honk or something like that. We call those confirmation beeps or confirmations. When that means that the universe agrees with you, that that it agrees with what you just said. That you're right about something. All right. Thanks for watching, y'all. Say bye.
Bye.
Bye.